WTH.
What the hell?
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 This is the WTH.
The WTH podcast.
Hold on to your butts.
Jason Casey. Kareem Daniels. And Nate Darling. From the Darling New Media Studios.
This is the WTH podcast.
Darling New Media home studios, if you will. All coming to you live from our homes as it's election eve. And Jason, what's that? It almost looks like Jason has some sound material on his wall. Is that actual sound material or is that art?
It's art. Well, no, it's actually a frame TV.
Oh,
yeah.
As opposed to the other TV on the wall.
What are you talking? Like, well, there's no, that's not. Those are curtains.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I see.
Yeah.
No, those are curtains.
Okay, great. Welcome in, gentlemen. We started the show. Jason showed up as the open rolled, which is perfect. We got right into it. Started basically on time, pretty much on time, sort of on time. Coming up on the show today, what have we got? Well, we got a follow-up to our NHL talk from last week. Mick Foley knows some things about the election that we want you to know. We got something that I like to call whiny little POTUS. And Don Jr. is high AF. All of those things coming up today on the show. Oh, before we get to that, how are you guys doing? Kareem, how are you, man?
My Steelers are 7-0.
I saw that.
So I am doing wonderful in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween was Saturday night.
It was.
My nieces were over for that. I scared one of them half to death.
That's always a good time.
That was so much fun. We were so it's three of them. So it's the three of them, my girlfriend and my girlfriend's best friend. They're all in the living room watching us with the lights off.
Right.
So, I'm like, they're going to spend the night over here on Halloween. So at some point, I'm going to scare the shit out of them. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to do something. So I heard the music change on the movie. So I went out front to see what was going on. And my girlfriend and her friend noticed that I came out, but the girls didn't notice that I were out.
Right.
So I just kind of hung out for a minute. And I was watching the movie, but I was going to scare Lauren and Haley. But then Haley's dog got up, and that made Haley get up. And when Haley got up, I was just standing there.
That's the biggest scare ever when you don't expect someone to be there. It just gets you.
So she screamed, she cried, and I think she peed a little bit.
Very nice. Jason, how are you?
Hey, hanging in there.
How's your anxiety level as we are on the eve of election day?
Man, I'm just trying not to think about it, and I'm trying not to get super depressed at just trying to my anxiety level's a 9 out of 10, and I'm trying to really not think about it at all. Because each time I start thinking about it, it's like a downward spiral of thinking about what could I have done over all these years to assist in all the racist thinking in my family. What could I have done? Could I have done more? Could I have done things like differently, as opposed to like having, people that I know that are close that I love that are right. So like that's I can't think about it. I can't think about it right now because this is what I continually go back to and start thinking about, and it sucks. So yeah. How about you?
I feel you totally. I want to say this about daylight savings time and having a toddler. Daylight savings time can suck the biggest bag of dicks that it can find, because it is the worst.
Yeah.
now from yes.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Continue what you're saying, and I have a couple of pussies to throw in on top of those dicks, just to make it a little bit better.
if it was just me, I was never really bothered that much by it when it was just me. But little kids have no earthly idea of what's going on. And it was compounded for us because we went to Reading on Saturday. And the little one went to bed, and then she woke up at 2:30 in the morning, really upset about something, and we had to be up with her for an hour. And then she went down for 3 hours after that. But it's fucked her nap schedule like you would not believe. Just fucked it royally. And she would not take so she was up at like 4 this morning, and she took a nap this morning, but then she needed a nap this afternoon and would not take one. And then I put her down, but apparently I put her down too late. So she went to bed at 4 this afternoon. So I'm looking forward to a 3 a.m. wake up or somewhere thereabouts tomorrow.
Wow.
Exactly.
That was the pussy I was going to add on top of the dicks. Was the at least they go to bed earlier or more tired by it. Like, so we just started putting Alma to sleep with CJ last week. Grandma, because she's here, was like, you guys should just try it. So we're like, yeah, we tried it once and just did not go well at all. But sure enough, this time, like, while Alma cried for like 8 minutes, CJ cried for like 40 minutes. Alma fell right asleep, the baby. So anyhow, that's been happening all the time. Daylight savings time fucked them up. So they've been waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right,
which sucks ass. More for my mother-in-law, because she like handles CJ. But they are both asleep, and it's 7:40. How often does that happen? That never. They were both in sleep at bed like 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, they were always running around screaming during the show.
Yeah,
I'm in the bedroom right now, but that's because I can be in here.
Right? How great is that? How great is that?
It's awesome. So I'm just saying, it'll come, buddy. Like you'll get there.
It was just a really bad sort of setup that led to it all. And we voted on this the last fucking time that in California we were done with this happy horse shit. Yet here we are still doing it.
Oh yeah, come on, buddy.
I can tell you that you're not alone, because I saw somebody say something about it on Twitter. And it was like, toddlers do not give a fuck about daylight savings time.
Nope.
No, they don't.
No, I used to love it. It was my favorite. It was my favorite day of the year. One of my favorite days of the year, because it meant I got an extra hour to play video games on the weekend or drink later. Like, I mean, honestly, when I was drinking, I got to drink,
Yeah. Let me also say this for everybody, mostly on Twitter, but some on Facebook, talking about 2020 being an extra hour longer. It's not. We set the clocks back, but we set them forward in the spring, so it evens that out. But 2020 is, in fact, a full fucking day longer because it's a leap year.
Yeah.
You ignorant twats.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell you the number of people, hi friends, who posted that idiocy on Facebook. Oh, 2020 an hour longer. That's like getting bonus checks on a Yoko Ono album. Fuck off. You know what's worse than that? You and thinking you're funny. And god damn, that just fuck you. Fuck it. If you think you're funny, hit an open mic. Hit an open mic. See how it goes for you. See how it goes for you.
I know you both have noticed that I got back on Twitter. So
I have not.
No, because I've been getting messages from you guys. Like when you guys send messages, you must have included me in the.
Yeah.
We always include you.
I didn't notice you responded to any.
Yeah. No, I liked a couple of them, I think, but any, like, you don't know how it works, Jason. But Wow, what was it that I saw? It's been so long that I'm still subscribed to Brian Bishop. From the Adam Carolla show.
Bald Brian.
Bald Brian, yeah. Oh my god, he's such a like I
cancer survivor.
Well, yeah, fine, good, but he at the same time, like he's so like he's just ridiculous now. He's just ridiculous now. That whole crew is ridiculous.
Look, you know where your money's made. You do your thing. You do whatever. That's your thing. That's your jam. Whatever, however it works for you. I don't care. Don't care. Not gonna waste a second on it. Can I mute this goddamn? I'm going to mute. There we go. I'm going to mute Facebook. Notifications. Well, no, because everything's coming through the computer. I'm doing things differently because I'm at home. So everything is coming through one computer. So we'll if we run into issues, we'll know why. But it's one of the it's now discoverable. Let me pair my iPad before I forget. Here's the thing. I mean, people might think, oh, these guys are just rambling about nothing. Oh, we'll get to all the politics and bitching that you expect from us.
Yeah, we're easing into it. We're easing into it, everyone.
Yeah, we're taking it slow and easy. We're not just jamming it in like that.
Yeah, we gotta get you ready.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing right now. We're taking it easy with this toddler daylight savings time talk, and then all of a sudden you won't know what hit you because we'll be going full bore. Woo! Yeah, then you'll know. I've had some interactions with Bald Brian, not for a while, but he actually did a interview with me for the podcast. God, ages ago. And it's still on the site. If you go to WTHpod.com and search Bald Brian, it'll show up, and you can listen to that interview. But he was a nice enough guy. I met him at a few live shows. He was always really nice, but people change and people evolve or devolve, whatever the case may be. They go and they do their thing. So
yeah, they do their thing.
All right, let's start it out. We got a follow up. Last week we were talking about the draft pick of the Arizona Coyotes.
All right.
His bullying that he admitted to back in 2016, a black classmate with developmental disabilities. Well, the Coyotes apparently listen to the WTH podcast. How's it going, gentlemen? Because they have renounced their rights to the draft pick, Mitchell Miller, after the report revealed that he admitted to bullying a black teen with disabilities. That's what the headline is. We know that they said, look, if the WTH pod is talking about it, then it's big enough that we need to just really get on this and not fuck around anymore.
We're big. We are big in the NHL market. That's a big part. That's a big part of our demographic.
White guys, yes, it is. Huge with white guys and one Asian fellow, Sushi Brian. So yeah,
they knew
good,
that
I guess.
They knew that Seth Meyers was going to talk about it next because a lot of the stuff that we talk about, he ends up talking about.
Yeah, we're a few days ahead of Seth Meyers. We're a few days ahead of his writers, is what I should say.
Yeah.
So they did that. What do you guys think of that? We talked a little bit ad nauseum about it last time at the end of the show, but Kareem, how do you feel about that decision?
I think it's a good decision now. I mean, they should have, like I said, he should have to earn his way on a roster, not by play, but by his actions.
Jason?
Yeah, give the guy some time to go to college and show that he's changed, turned over a new leaf. Doesn't get any, like things saying that he's bullying black kids in college. Yeah.
Oh, hey, actually, just have him show up. Look, just have him show up somewhere and apologize to the kid.
Yeah,
that might be a start.
Yeah.
That might be a start.
It could be.
Yeah, that would be a good place to get underway. But he's 18. He's in college at the University of North Dakota, and hopefully, he figures out the right way to act.
There are black people in North Dakota. I know. I've seen them. I've talked to them. So you got to go find some black people in North Dakota and apologize to them for the way you treated that kid.
There's a ton of things that he could and should do, and if he is smart and if he has an agent, his agent will guide him in the right direction toward making those decisions. And maybe next year or the year after, he will get drafted again. Because I mean, he's still super young. I mean, normally for a talented an NHL talent, they go to college, they play for a couple years, and then end up in the minor leagues, and then in the NHL at about 21, 22 if they're really good. Otherwise, some of them stay the whole 4 years. I don't know where he grades out, but I do know that it's a chance for him to rebuild and a chance to say, you know, if you don't really make amends for doing terrible shit, that the good things you think you might have might not be there for you. And anybody who says, oh, it's cancel culture, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Because I'm not saying that he should not get a chance at all. I'm saying that he should. I mean, if he had to apologize to the kid and try to do something to make amends for it, I'd have been like, okay, he deserves a second chance. But the fact that the story says specifically that he never apologized,
right?
He didn't try to do anything to make it right, then fuck him.
Right. Speaking of cancel culture, really quick, and I didn't put this in show prep, so you guys don't know. There's a gentleman named Chad Dukes, and Chad Dukes hosts the Big O and Dukes program podcast, and he also was the host of Chad Dukes versus the World on WJFK in Washington, D.C. until last Thursday when he was terminated for racist and sexist comments made in the past on his personal podcast. He's done a few other podcasts as well. They did not say what those comments were. They did not say when they were made. It's super hinky. And like, I listen to the dude and I like him. I don't like his politics when he really gets into it. He's sort of a Corolla clone in that way, but he's smart. He's funny. And to go back and go, oh, you know what? He said something in his podcast in the past. Now, if he said it in September, okay. But if you pulled some shit from 5 years ago, that's some heavy duty bullshit right there.
Yeah.
Does it matter what he said? Like,
to me?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I listen to the Big O and Duke show, and there are things that are said. Here's the thing. When you read something that was said, it's very different sometimes than when you hear what was said and how it was said, because you can't necessarily tell if it's joking or malice or what is going on with it if you're just reading a statement. And if that's the case, then and I know how they pulled this deal, because he talked a little bit about when he renegotiated his contract that he finally got to talk about his podcasts and his personal projects on his radio show. So when they checked that box off and said, sure, Chad, go ahead and talk about your podcast on the radio show, we're cool with that now, it opened the door for them to be able to say, hey, you're mentioning that podcast on your radio show, so therefore that podcast is now associated with you and us. Yeah. And then it kicks in their clauses to do that. I personally think that it was Entercom looking at the finances and saying, here's a chance to clip one of our highest paid DJs, and just doing it as a cost cutting measure. I don't think it was anything more or less than that, because there was no indication of what was said or when it was said. If they would have said, even if they don't say what was said that caused this to happen, all they would have to say is comments that he made on his podcast in September. I'd be like, okay, it just happened. Clearly there's an issue. If it was something that was said in the middle of a wacky bit, because they do ridiculous bits on that show that happened 7 years ago, that's a whole other kettle of fish. If you like the phrase kettle of fish, for me anyway, because times change, what's appropriate changes, what's acceptable changes, And to judge people with 2020 lens in, say, 2014 isn't fair. It just isn't. So I don't know anything more about it than that because they have not released another episode of their podcast. They normally drop a show on Tuesday, so I'll find out then kind of if there is any story about that is that he wants to talk about, and maybe we'll talk about that. But it was interesting to see that just sort of drop out of nowhere. It's like, whoa, because I never feel good when someone gets fired unless it's somebody who is actually physically, emotionally harming someone. Someone like a Louis C.K., someone like a Harvey Weinstein, a Matt Lauer. Bad shit happens to them. You fucking deserve it because you went out of your way. Somebody said something as part of when they were trying to do comedy. That's a tougher one, man. It just is.
Listen, for me, if it's blatantly racist, like if it's just blatantly racist, 2014 wasn't that long ago. And I'm not talking about Jimmy Kimmel doing blackface as Karl Malone or something of that nature. I'm talking about saying something, if it was blatantly racist, even if it wasn't a bit, like, there's certain things just we don't joke about and we don't make jokes about. I don't know. I'm looking for. I want to hear more about it. I'm looking forward to the follow up on this one to see what happens with it.
Kareem, what's your thought?
I need to see the follow up on it too. I guess I kind of need to see. I need to hear what was said, and I like you said, I need to hear it, not read it. As I've said several times on the podcast, in my family, nothing's sacred.
Well, and the other thing is, this is somebody who has a lot of friends who are. He has friends who are African Americans. He has friends who are Hispanic, and in their friendship, they are like part of the whole.
You say shit that you wouldn't say. The
whole essence of their show and what they do is basically cruelty to each other. And at a certain point, sometimes it has a racial component, or like the wink and a nod. Sort of, I'm making a racist joke, but I really don't feel this way, sort of thing. So that's where hearing it as opposed to reading it makes a really big difference. But I still think it was just a cost-cutting measure. I mean, I guess we'll find out. It doesn't really make a difference. He's out on his ass, and his contract was canceled.
I wish we could hold politicians. You know what I mean?
I'm sure the president of the United States has said things equally as bad as Chad Dukes, and certainly was not kidding.
It goes back to that article, the horse whisperer that we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Not paying and not attacking the issue anymore and the people. They did it to Al Franken, who was a legitimately good person that wanted to use his ability not to have to worry about money to serve his country. And he gets shit canned. He resigns. He resigns his elected seat, because of some stupid shit.
Yeah. And then somebody last week got mad because he was on Bill O'Reilly's show and wrote an article about it. And it's like, you're not reading, like the person that wrote the article, I'm like, you're not reading the room, because most people are mad that he got shit canned. More mad about him getting shit canned than what you're thinking he did.
Right.
Kirsten Gillibrand is in the Senate and didn't get any look as a real presidential candidate because of it.
Yeah, it's a hell of a thing as we get closer. So last week we played clips of Trump at one of his rallies talking about how COVID, no one was going to be talking about it after the 4th. They are going into lockdown in Europe, various levels of lockdown in Germany and France. And then the UK announced they're going into a 4-week lockdown as well, and the UK, run by Boris Johnson, who's one of Trump's sort of pals. So you know what? We are going to be talking about it after Election Day. Who fucking knew? Here's the rub, though. In the UK, couples living apart are now banned from having sex unless they're in bubbles. That's right. Single people and couples who don't live together are going to be banned again from having sex during England's second national lockdown unless they have formed a support bubble. Under the latest strict measures coming into effect from last Thursday, people are not allowed to visit friends and family living in other households indoors or in a private garden. This means overnight stays are strictly off limits until December 2nd, when the lockdown period is due to end, unless transmission rates have not successfully dropped. Then it will be extended. However, government guidelines state there are exemptions to the rule if a person is providing childcare and other support, or if a support bubble has been formed. And we're not talking about dad ass. The new guidelines state you must not meet socially indoors with family or friends unless they are part of your household, meaning the people you live with, or a support bubble. Overnight stays and holidays away from primary residence will not be allowed, including holidays in the UK and abroad. A support bubble is when one adult who lives alone joins up with another household. Those in the same bubble will be allowed to enjoy overnight stays at each other's homes only. This means couples living separately will not have to deal with weeks or months apart again if they're able to form that support bubble. They will be able to treat each other as if they live in the same household and have close contact with each other. So
it's not a fucking story. I mean, they make it seem like
Pornhub Europe is going to crash.
Listen, if you put those guidelines in place here, imagine in Michigan. The governor of Michigan came out and said, hey, here are the guidelines. And they were exactly the same. Those gun-toting, small penis MFers would lose their shit.
Yeah, because you're reminded how often they don't have sex.
Well, I mean, the whole thing, man. The whole thing. Right?
Yeah, no, I know.
I was like, shit, Europe's locking down again? That is not good news for us.
I feel the way they make it sound though, like, is they make it sound like that they have to be in bubbles. Like, you know what I mean? Like the way this headline reads, unless you understand a little bit, it sounds like
bubbly water.
People have to be in a bubble of some type. And then like the idea of what a support bubble is, it makes complete sense. And that's we've been talking about things like that.
Right.
I mean, I feel like it's almost a non-story. It makes it sound like people can't have sex. Like they're telling people they can't have sex. No, listen, if you're single and you have a girlfriend that lives on the other side of town and it's just going to be the two of you in your support bubble, then you're fine.
Look, all I know is if you rolled up to Placer County and told the people there that they needed to be in the support bubble or they couldn't see each other, they would lose their ever-loving minds.
Oh yeah, they already have. They already did.
Right. And our lockdown was not even remotely that strict.
No, you can still go to Home Depot and the grocery store, which to them, they didn't understand why you could do that, but not go to church that was packed in with people singing. They're the same. It's the same thing, Nate. It's the same thing. 100 people singing all at the same time in a closed, confined space indoors. It's the same thing as, being in line for a few minutes.
Why do you hate Jesus? Jesus will protect me. I'm awash in the blood of Christ.
Well, I mean,
I'm awash in the blood of Christ.
When you see him, you can ask him. We can tell him what happened.
All right, let him know what's up.
What's up, Jesus? Oh, hey, there he is. He's checking in. If you're listening, Jesus, give us a sign. I being up in the Reading area this past weekend, I saw several people doing their Halloween thing, and they were not socially distancing. They were not wearing masks of any kind. And I ducked into a grocery store to pick something up real quick. And I walked in and I saw a sign that said masks required beyond this point. And I said, all right, finally. And I walked in there and about 90% of the people not wearing masks.
Damn.
The workers were, but the other people were not. They were just standing there like dumbasses. The only good thing is they were actually maintaining social distance. The store did everything in terms of signage that you could ask for, but there was no one there going, hey, put on a mask or get the fuck out.
I hope those frontline workers are wearing N95 masks.
Oh God, no.
Of course not.
No. And I would be willing to bet that 2 out of the 3 of them that I saw there, from their actions and the way they were looking, would have taken their masks off if they were allowed to and keep their job, but they are not. So anyway, that was an interesting thing to come across. This should be interesting. Let's see if this actually works. Mick Foley, former pro wrestler Mick Foley, he has some things to say about the election, the president, and he has a question for Trump supporters. Can you guys hear him?
No.
Nope.
There. So, we're going to change the way we do the show then, because we're not going to do that. We're not going to have you guys not be able to hear. That was my concern when we started all this up.
I was like,
I could see your face, but I'm like, can he hear? Is he trying to listen? Yeah, Mick Foley wanted to know why you're supporting Donald Trump, since he's blatantly trying to suppress as many votes as possible. All right, so let's move now to Betsy. Betsy is interviewed on Fox News. Betsy is a Trump supporter, and Betsy says, quote, "I'm getting a little bit nervous for election time, in that if Trump does win, I'm afraid of violence. And I don't think there's any chance that Trump won't win unless it's massive voter fraud. So I've signed up to be a challenger to watch out at the polls." Here's my question. What the fuck is she watching out for? And will she know when she sees it?
oh yeah, all the people that will come that wearing the robes and the turbans and are dark skinned. Just all the people who are dark skinned will be showing up, and she'll know that those are not those. You can't let those people vote.
Betsy signed up to get her ass whooped at the polls. That's what Betsy signed up for.
Seriously, every polling place should have a sheriff's deputy there. And that sheriff's deputy should go up to literally anybody who is there, who is not voting or working, legitimate poll worker, and tell them to fuck off. If you're not in line to vote and you're not a poll worker, fuck off. Get the fuck out of here. You don't get to loiter around and just harass people. Get the fuck out. That's my opinion. Right?
Gotta go.
I mean, why would you allow people to do that?
Why? I mean, wow, man. Oh, man.
Right? I'm just asking the question. It's a legitimate question, I think.
If she's volunteering to get her ass whooped, that's what she's doing.
Fair enough. Speaking of someone who might deserve an ass whooping.
Would you say it's windy enough tonight? Would you say? It's wonderful. I said, is there much wind? No, about 25 or 30 miles an hour, sir. Oh, that's wonderful.
What a whiny little bitch.
Whines about everything.
Yeah, he didn't say 25 to 30 miles. He didn't say, oh, wonderful. Because nobody says that about wind that's 25 to 30 miles an hour.
Sir, it's windy. Sir. That's in Georgia, by the way. That wasn't Michigan where he was complaining. Did you guys catch the photo that I posted of him in Michigan giving himself a weird hug? Yeah, it was amazing. I will put that in the WTH podcast group. because everybody really needs to see that. Because
I thought that was, I was like, I was going to repost it. And then I was like, man, I don't know. That just does not look real.
100% fucking real.
Oh man, that's nuts. Have you seen, speaking of real, not real. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You really need to watch the shit that we send on Twitter.
Yeah, no, I have been looking at it lately. It's nuts. It's awesome. Thank you guys. You've reinvigorated me. No, but have you guys, that being said, have you guys seen the Sassy Justice yet? Have you guys, it's Trey Parker, Matt Stone's new thing. They set up a deepfake studio, and it's a show that's nothing but deep fakes. And it's this guy named something Sassy, and he's looking for sassy justice for his local TV station. Mark Zuckerberg has does a commercial for a rug cleaning company, I think. In it, there's all kinds of Trump's. It's pretty hilarious. Those guys on the cutting edge. He said they'd invested in it and started the process before, like, as COVID happened. Like, this was because that deep fake was the thing that everybody was like, before the pandemic, everybody's like, deep fake's gonna destroy the world.
It's true. It's true. You know what else is true? The president. By the way, I've heard that he hates being called Donald. I heard that from his niece. That he hates being called Donald. So call him Donald.
Hey, Donald.
Donald engages in a little projection here at his rally in Georgia.
It will mean no school, no graduation, no weddings, no Thanksgiving, no Christmas, no Easter, no 4th of July, no future for American youth. Other than that, he's doing quite a good job, right?
Talking about Joe Biden. Those things literally have already happened under him.
Yeah, he's talking about shit that's going on under his presidency right now.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. He also, he plays the hits because that's what he does. Here he is attacking the media. For this is just weird.
This country has never seen.
Hold on. Here we go.
The fake news can't believe it. They're exhausted. Look at all of them back there. Those cameras, they're sagging. This is their 4th one. And all the crowds are big and strong, and they love our country. They all love our country. We have a movement, the likes of which this country has never seen before. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we had it called Jonestown.
Thank you.
We saw a movement like that before. It was called Jonestown.
Sagging cameras.
Yeah, they all ended up. I remember this. This happened after Hail Bop. A bunch of people wearing Nikes.
Yes.
There was one he did. I think it was Thursday or Friday, and he sounded almost like he was ready to quit.
Yeah, I mean,
listen, man. When you get that 10-day surge of prednisone that you're given, when it runs out, you hit bottom, bro.
He sounded like he hit bottom that day, boy.
Yeah, was that the second day not having any prednisone? He's like, I don't know any of that type of steroid, and he's just like,
bring fake Melania over.
Yeah.
That there are some fake Melanias traveling, man.
Yeah,
like there is a ton of fake Melanias. Here's a different rally, by the way, that I think you'll enjoy. This little ditty.
And incredible. Oh, these people don't know what the hell they're doing. Let me recover my ears for 1 second. Whoever did this microphone, don't pay him. You know, I have a reputation for not paying, and it's a false reputation. When somebody...
It's not a false reputation. He has a reputation for not paying because he don't pay.
Yes.
Going back 40 plus years. I have a reputation. It's not true. Man, he can roll with the punches, can he?
Man.
This is Bullhead City, Arizona. Let's continue. Here is him lambasting the media for not covering something that is on TV right now.
Oh, look at that. Look. Oh, look at that. They gave the president a little display. How about that? How about that? I wonder if the fake news caught that. Did you see that camera? Because they never turn the camera. They don't want to show anything that's good.
It was on TV. There's more than one camera.
I can't see any of their cameras, so they don't exist.
He is such a dope.
If I don't see any other cameras, how can they exist?
Okay. Here he is blaming Joe, saying that Joe Biden wants to ban a bunch of things. This is really some special nonsense. We can get right down to it.
With Sleepy Joe, there'd be no graduations, no weddings, no Thanksgiving. They're already talking about no Thanksgiving. And in California, you have a special mask. You cannot, under any circumstances, take it off. You have to eat through the mask. It's a right, Charlie. It's a very complex mechanism, and they don't realize those germs. They go through it like nothing. They look at you with that contraption and they say, "That's an easy one. I'll go right through with the food."
What's he talking about?
Don't know.
Why don't I have one of these masks
that you eat through?
Where do you get these? I'm as Californian as you get, bro. I was born in San Diego, raised in the Bay Area. I've been here my whole life. How did I not get this mask? My wife works for the state. Why doesn't she have one? Where's our mask?
I wanted to send that clip to Governor Newsom and ask him where my mask was.
Where's my mask to go through?
Do I have to go to the OES to get one of those?
Yeah,
OES.
Do you get to is it work with sex too? Can you eat through it?
By the way, he's saying this in Bullhead City, Arizona. So it's not like they don't run into people from California. Come on.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe that's what they do. They give it to you at the border. I didn't see. It should go out to Carson City,
where they check you for vegetables.
Yeah. Do you have your mask? Oh, here it is.
Here he is, still talking about it.
Oh, good.
And boy, when you have spaghetti and meat sauce, that mask is not looking. You walk out, it looks like you got into a fight with Dana White. Where's Dana? You fought one of Dana White. I saw Dana White. Does anybody know who Dana White is? Looks like you got into a fight with one of his fighters, right? No. You don't have Christmas. You don't have the 4th of July. No. We got to get back to normal, but you got to open up the states. By the way.
What are you even talking about?
I don't think he knows.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
He's just making up shit as he goes, and they still go with it.
Well, sure. They just, when the crazy homeless guy starts rambling about stuff. I said this a long time ago. If Trump were on a street corner yelling across a corner to you, you would put your head down and walk the other way and go, "That is a crazy homeless person."
Yeah.
But because he's got a red hat on and there's a bunch of people around, it's suddenly a big deal and we have to pay attention to it. He's not done. Now he's going to talk about, since Dana White's popped into his head, who to win in a fight between him and Joe Biden.
With Sleepy Joe, I don't think Sleepy Joe would be a good fighter. Do you? I asked Dana before. One gentle little touch to the face and he's down. He's down. He wouldn't get up very quickly either, would he? Joe Biden's only idea. Remember, he said, "I'd like to take him to the back of the barn." Okay. Now, have I ever said that to him, to say, he practices violence? The president practices violence. No, that's right. Remember, he said, "I would take him to the back of." That's like, if you have to fight somebody, that's your dream fight, right? Sleepy
Joe Biden would kick his ass 6 ways from Sunday, because I don't think Donald Trump's ever actually been in a fight.
He's a coward.
He wants people to do his fighting for him. That's who he is. That is exactly who he is. So
he wants you to think he's tough, but he's not tough.
Yeah, he's gonna. I mean, like basically, all Biden needs to do is go up the stairs.
Yeah, he'd cower like a bitch,
or down a ramp.
Yeah, he's all Biden needs to do is keep himself about 5 feet away from Trump and just keep walking backwards. Make sure he doesn't trip on anything.
Yeah.
He'll be out of breath.
If he flexed on him, he would cower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if we did one of those,
yeah,
he'd be like,
yeah.
Well, Trump has now defended his supporters who last week surrounded a Biden-Harris campaign bus in Texas and tried to run it off the road. By the way, the FBI is now investigating it. But Donald, he has defended his supporters and called them patriots and that they've done nothing wrong. He even joked that they were escorting the bus, to which I say, we know. We know. No one is that stupid.
Yeah. And fuck Marco Rubio too.
Yeah.
Little Marco.
I mean, and I like how they go.
Okay.
Little Marco said something about, we do that all the time here. Like, fuck you, Marco.
Yeah, we do it all the time in Florida.
You little Marco.
Shut up, you little dink. Speaking of little dinks, Don Jr. Went on Laura Ingram's show. And Laura Ingraham, by the way, Trump was making fun of her for wearing a mask at a rally, which if she had, we'll get into what the rallies have done numbers wise to COVID, but anyway,
no self-respect.
No, none at all. Here's what the president's son, Don Jr. Said. By the way, I just want to point out the irony of Trump in his campaign trying to bring Hunter Biden into everything and saying, oh, well, Hunter Biden did all of these things and benefited from his father being the vice president, and Hunter Biden did a lot of drugs. These are a lot of things that they've been saying. Hunter Biden is a recovering drug addict. It's not something he's hiding. It's something that's out there. Don Jr. sounds like this.
These people are truly morons. You know what I mean? And I like how they go after Scott Atlas because he's not an epidemiologist, but Sanjay Gupta now magically is. I mean, give me a break, Laura. The reality is this. If you look, I put it up on my Instagram a couple of days ago because I went through the CDC data because I kept hearing about new infections. But I was like, well, why aren't they talking about deaths? Oh, because the number is almost nothing because we've gotten control of this thing. We understand how it works. They have the therapeutics to be able to deal with this. If you look at that, look at my Instagram, it's gone to almost nothing.
Okay. Let's put aside for a moment everything he said is wrong.
The numbers are going down, though. If I say it, it's true.
Look at my Instagram. Ah! Dude, you don't have to do all of the cocaine
at once.
You don't have to.
Well, because he doesn't know when he's going to have to go to jail. I get it.
Dude,
I mean, you should keep doing it, man, until you're there, bro. I mean, just ask. What is the guy? Bodak Gold or whatever. He's trying to get out too, bro. Just join him.
Anyway, our current president, Donald, he likes to tweet hashtag Biden crime family. He misspells family a lot when he does that too. Anyway, he has done this more than once. He likes to deride them as an organized crime family whose members should be locked up. Well, here's the problem. He's really into projection because he himself has benefited from about 40 grand in campaign contributions connected to a pair of actual mafia figures. Donations to Trump's reelection effort have come from two wealthy automobile dealers who have been identified by law enforcement officials and mob turncoats as members of the Colombo crime family.
You know, the Columbos were the Columbus. The guy that was head of the Colombo was the guy that was all about Columbus Day too.
Yeah, one of the donors, John Staluppi, who's 73, first met the president in the late 80s when the men worked together to design the Donald Trump signature series Cadillac limousine. Barf.
You can get blown by 3 ladies and get an abortion in the back.
Yeah, his deal with Staluppi and his partner, both of whom were convicted felons, was the first time he licensed his name for a product. The limo was marketed years before Trump began appearing on steaks, water, bedding, cologne, vodka, etc. Staluppi and his wife Jeanette were also officers of a helicopter charter service that was paid to ferry gamblers to Atlantic City casinos, including 3 owned by Trump. Now, Staluppi, who had $250,000 credit lines at each Trump gambling joint, was eventually denied a casino service license by New Jersey regulators after the FBI and Department of Justice officials identified him as a member of the Colombo crime family, a career offender cartel. The other Trump contributor, John Rossetti, 76, is a longtime friend of Staluppi, who has also made donations in this election cycle to Republican Senators Steve Daines and Lindsey Graham, Jim Jordan, and John Cummings, who is running against Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. According to Federal Election Commission records, Staluppi has made a pair of $1,000 donations to the Trump Make America Great Again Committee, a joint fundraising operation benefiting Donald J. Trump President, Inc., and the Republican National Committee. Staluppi has also donated $580 directly to the RNC. Back in February, his wife gave $35,000 to the Trump Victory, a joint committee whose fundraising principally benefits Trump Re-election Committee and the RNC's efforts to help incumbents win re-election. So, yeah.
He's going to take all that money. He's trying to figure out a way of keeping all that money and not using it for the campaign.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's going to be part of why he's going to lose, because he's trying to keep that money.
Well,
and everybody else is stealing from him ahead of time.
Steve Miller would come to mind with his take the money and run.
Yeah.
Speaking of money and running and not wanting to be in the rain, no, it wasn't the rain. It was wind. Wind. Donald Trump did not do one of his rallies in North Carolina because wind. So he had some free time, and what did he do with it? Well, he had a great meeting with Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne tweeted, "Just had a great meeting with Donald Trump. Besides what he's done so far with criminal reform, the Platinum Plan is going to give the community real ownership. He listened to what we had to say and assured he will and can get change done." And then did one of these emojis with a hand. And there's a photo of Lil Wayne and Trump giving thumbs up, standing next to each other. Kareem, thoughts?
Again, Lil Wayne. So I've never been a Lil Wayne fan.
Sure.
And then there's an interview of him when the black woman who interviewed him asked him about Black Lives Matter. He said, I'm a rich black man. How does that show? That shows how Black Lives Matter to America. Sit your dumb ass down, go get you some more cough syrup, and shut the fuck up.
Michael Che pointed out that Lil Wayne puts cough syrup in his Sprite. So
yes. I am so tired.
Oh, Kodak Black. Kodak Black was the other rapper that just came out in support.
But Jason, Trump's getting all the lils.
Yeah.
All the lils are coming out for Trump and his little hands. Sorry, Donald and his little hands. Because breaking, Lil Pump has attended a Trump rally wearing a MAGA hat after declaring his support for the president. The Gucci Gang rapper previously criticized Joe Biden's tax plan. That's right. Yes.
Hey, cool kids, cool people, all the people that were cool when you were young or whatever. It's not cool to be stupid. It never was. You were just bigger than everybody else who was smart, and they were afraid that you're going to beat their ass. And now that's who's been running the world, is the smart people. So the people that you made fun of are the people that are doing everything else to make sure that we don't go off the fucking deep end.
Anyway, I mean, they talk about people not voting their interest. I will say this: Lil Pump voting his interest because he's doubled down on his support. He became notoriously pro-Trump after he looked at Joe Biden's tax plan and figured out he's going to end up paying more to the federal government under a Biden presidency due to his wealth. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
Fuck Lil Pump.
He posted 2 videos to his Instagram story on Sunday showing that he was in the front row of the president's rally in Florida. It shows an excited looking Lil Pump sporting a red Make America Great Again hat as he listens intently to Trump speak. He then turns the camera to show the president at the podium during the rally before turning the camera back to himself to emit a gleeful laugh before ending the video. By the way, this story is on foxnews.com.
Oh, they're all on Fox News right now.
Well, sure, because the 80-year-old white people that watch Fox News, they know all the little rappers.
Yeah.
What if this is a counter move to get some of those old people like, maybe this is a wrong endorsement. Maybe I shouldn't be voting for Trump.
I mean, he is literally trying to kill them. He's abandoned them at airport tarmacs and yeah, hypothermia in Nebraska, heat stroke in Florida. He's just and the COVID. Oh, the COVID.
Oh, and he left some of them, I think, in Michigan or Pennsylvania too. Oh, in Pennsylvania, he just left them out in the street, just walking the streets like fucking zombies. The zombie apocalypse, the COVID apocalypse. These motherfuckers just stranded after his thing. Oh my god, I'm so tired of these people.
Well, here's the story that I sort of hinted at earlier. That there's a Stanford study out that is linked. Are you ready? 30,000 cases of COVID-19 to Trump rallies. Researchers examined the impact of 18 rallies. This is 18 rallies that took place earlier this fall. 30,000 cases and 700 deaths. The communities in which Trump rallies took place paid a high price in terms of disease and death. That's from the study's authors. It wasn't based on individual cases that were traced back to particular rallies. Rather, the researchers compared the spread of the virus in areas surrounding the location of 18 rallies held between June 20th and September 30th to the spread the virus in demographically similar locations throughout the country that didn't host rallies. According to the New York Times, the researchers determined through statistical analysis that the 18 events produced increases in confirmed cases of more than 250 per 100,000 residents. And by pulling that out over the 18 rallies, they were able to conclude that at least 30,000 cases of COVID-19 and 700 deaths resulted. He is literally trying to kill his supporters. Literally.
It's fake, bro. It's fake. Those people were like, they were fat usually. They don't usually go out in the sun. They don't eat well. It's just the way it is, bro.
Sounds familiar. Sounds really familiar. Just saying.
You know, that KFC on the plane is, it's the healthiest shit you can have.
Oh man, well, he has the Colonel on there himself making it for him. He actually got it. He got it. The Colonel actually got a KFC installed on Air Force One. I don't know if you guys knew about that, but you can get it fresh when he's on there. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. You got a whole. It's its own little chain. You got it.
There is nothing like quote unquote fresh KFC. Fresh KFC.
I mean, it is freeze dried, but whatever.
By the way, if you're one of those people who said, here's Joe Biden on a plane not wearing a mask, it turns out that's from 2019. So shut the fuck up. I'm just gonna leave that out there. If you're someone who's like, hey, what about this? What about this? What about Joe Biden? What about Joe Biden on the plane? What about him not wearing his thing?
You know what? One of the best things I did was join a Christians for Biden group. It's really been like one of my salvations over the last couple of months. A friend of mine that I like invited me to, and I was like, I need to see something other than these other people that I know in my life that are, I need to see that there's some Christians that are actually Christians. And it's been delightful. But somebody posted a picture of Biden at church yesterday.
Yeah, he goes to church.
Trail.
He goes to church on Sundays. He's a Catholic, practicing.
I know. It just astounds me that like he goes to church every Sunday, no matter what. He makes his way there. Yet he's so. It just baffles my mind, bro. It just baffles my mind.
All right. Well, let's get your mind right then.
Okay.
Let's talk about what happened in New Mexico, where a drunken early morning fight between a New Mexico woman and her daughter-in-law ended Sunday when the older combatant tore the nipple off of one of her kin's breasts. That's a nip.
How does that even happen?
Well, I don't know, but prosecutors will weigh aggravated assault charges against Amelia Ovedi, who's 46, in connection with her December 12th confrontation. Oh, this is from 2010. Good Lord. I need to look at the dates. Look, it's old school stuff. So she's 56 now. Good Lord. Yeah, she had a confrontation. I'm still going through it. I'm gonna. We'll see. After the woman physically removed her mother-in-law from the apartment, she felt fluid on her right breast and noticed there was blood on her shirt, and that's where the cringe factor explodes. You know, the story is still cringy 10 years later. When she untucked her shirt, she stated that her nipple fell to the floor. She then picked it up, put it into a bag. 2 hours passed before she decided she needed to go to the hospital, though. She told officers she was not sure she wanted to pursue charges. Prosecutors have the discretion to file a felony case against the woman following a conclusion of the police probe. Deputy District Attorney told the Las Cruces Sun News it was apparently the first time that a Las Cruces resident had suffered a body part being torn off during a crime. So that's back in 2010. I don't see a follow-up.
What kind of drugs was she on that you could tear off a nipple?
She's grinning from ear to ear in her mugshot. I'm just saying. Hold on. Let me quickly Google this woman. I need to know what's going on. Let's look her up. Look. No content. Search the web. I need to know what's going on. There has to be. Here we go. Nipple. This is from 2011. God, that took a while to go through. She did not, in fact, go to jail. Did not. We can find her on Facebook too.
She should go to jail for nipple abuse.
Anyway, she took a plea for aggravated battery. She paid the $10,000 of medical bills and will be avoided any jail time. So that's how the story ended. Back in 2011. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's good to know our history.
Right. I guarantee this was a story we talked about on the show in 2011. You know what? No, maybe we didn't, because 2000 this predates the show. The show started in summer of 2011. So yeah, there we go. That's what's going on with that. I will say this though. If you're waiting for small town news, I have some sad news about small town news. There are too many small town newspapers that have now moved all of their stuff behind a paywall, and I get it. You've got to pay for your stuff. But here's the other side of that story. You're not worth it to me. So, I'm weighing one of two things. Either small town news goes away as what we closed the show with, because there is none today, or I pay for a subscription to my small town hometown newspaper. I believe it's $28 for the year. I may spring for that just because I can talk about the nonsense that's going on with my dad. I'll actually have something to talk to him about at the when I call him and go through stuff like that. But look, Marilyn Haggerty is not worth $2.37 a week. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. The Press Republican, there's no more speak out. Apparently COVID has killed speak out.
Everybody's at home complaining,
right?
Shout out to Vermont for standing up to the SCOTUS for lying about their ruling.
Oh, yes, but Brett Kavanaugh
Yes.
saying Vermont had not made any changes to their voting, which was utter and complete bullshit. And the Secretary of State said as much. And they have now demanded that be taken out of the opinion of the Supreme Court because it is factually incorrect. In Vermont, just like in California, every registered voter was mailed a ballot.
He must have been drinking a whole lot of beer when he wrote that shit.
Look, he's late. Here's what we know about Brett Kavanaugh. He's not as smart as the Republicans would like you to think. And he's every bit as lazy as he looks, because that was a lazy mistake.
Yes.
That was a fucking lazy mistake. Because if I'm writing something up, and maybe it's just me, and I say something like, I bet Vermont hasn't done anything, I would take, 30, 40 seconds and Google that shit just to see.
I do that just in my Facebook posts, bro.
Especially if it's something that's going to be read by everybody in the fucking country that's a legal scholar.
Yeah.
Every news outlet.
And including the Secretary of State in the state that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So real quickly, I just wanted to, since we're getting close to the end of things here,
sure.
I wanted to say, first of all, I wanted to apologize for my barbecue antics last week, live on the air, and for podcast, because that was wrong. I mean, like, listen, man, however you make your own delicious chicken, man, is right, especially if it's tasty. Who am I to lay judgment or say what you're doing is wrong? It was really ridiculous for me to say that. That being said, I did make some tri-tip this weekend. I smoked two tri-tips on my Weber Smoky Mountain, and I was going to do it on my grill because you don't necessarily need that smoke on the grill. But I was like, I'm going to do it on here. I'm going to take one from, like, Nate's been doing this a lot lately. I'm just gonna fucking fire it up and do it, man. Cooked in like about an hour and a half. The night before I dry brined it with some salt all over it, left it in the refrigerator, opened, and it was amazing, man. Cooked it to 130, let it rest for about 25 minutes. It was amazing. And I cut it right too. I watched like 4 things, and I've been eating tri-tip my whole life, but it's like, I'm going to look into just make sure I'm cutting it right. And that I think did everything about it also, because it was melted in our mouths. It was amazing. So
yeah, tri-tip, if you cut it wrong, you're just screwing yourself. You can do everything right and you cut it wrong, and it's like, this is really tough. What'd you do? It's like, I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I've just had a lot of luck, and it's not from any real skill. I watched YouTube videos of people who said, hey, here's how I do it. And I said, oh, that makes sense, and went off of that. And of course, I do have what the professionals would call the easy bake oven, because I can just set my temperature at whatever I want it to be, and it just stays there. It does make life a lot easier. So I can throw something in there for an hour at 150, which is not even possible on a lot of stuff, and just let it sit in the smoke. And that's when the smoke just sort of permeates everything and gets into that thing, especially if you've used a really good rub. And, I will forever shout out Meat Church's Holy Gospel rub, because that is amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Love Meat Church. Meat Church.
I'll have to try it. All Spicery, man, also has some great, their jerk spice is fucking amazing, man. It's a dope spice. And then I use their Santa Maria rub for the tri-tip, and it turned out amazing also. But just wanted to let you, and I just wanted to let you know that I was you were an inspiration for me to try something a little bit different. Also, it turned out amazing.
No, that's good. I'm happy that you had a good result. See, opening your mind to new things is always
good.
Man.
A closed mind is a symptom of a maladjusted mind.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. By the way, I didn't take it personally. I mean, here's you've been doing your smoking for quite a while, and I think in a lot of times you mentioned your group, and I was like, I wonder if Jason went on his group and saw a bunch of people being dicks about stuff, and then went, "Oh, was I that guy?"
It wasn't even that. I just was like thinking about it later that night. I was just like, dude, that was just such a dick move for you to tell somebody else like what to think. And especially like one of the good things about, and it's one of those things that I saw in that that Chef's Table barbecue, which if you haven't seen those 4 episodes, you should watch them. They're amazing. But there's so many different methods to barbecue and to grill and to smoke that nobody is right or wrong necessarily. If what you're producing tastes good and is edible, like if it's edible and tastes fucking good, there's not going to be one person at the fucking barbecue that's going to be like, man, you didn't smoke this for 12 hours, dude. I can taste it. I mean, if it tastes good, dude, they'll be like, dude, this is some good food, especially if it's free.
Oh yeah,
1,000% on that one. Well, I appreciate it, Jason. So thank you very much for that little bit of knowledge. Hold on, I want to lean over here for a second, and there we go. Because I want music to go out here, and I don't have a ton of music to. I need to get some royalty free music to just throw on, so we can wrap our shows up with something where we'll be happy about that. And
hell, I'm going to hell.
Yeah, we'll do that. Do that. Yeah, all those things. All that. Yeah.
Well, allow me to retort.
Okay, you know what I'm saying.
So we're not going to fight anymore.
All right, I'm stealing the Karen music because we're wrapping this up. Jason, if you're looking for someone to follow on Twitter, I suggest Roy Wood Jr.
Oh yeah,
at Roy Wood Jr. He tweeted, getting the holiday spirit, everybody. He tweeted all this hype about Christmas when y'all know damn well Santa is in the at-risk group for COVID. You need to stay his ass at the North Pole.
100. Stay home, Santa. All these adults are bad.
Santa staying home. Did you see the outrage of the post that I had of? I'm going to go back to it real quickly here. Here it is. It is the outrage that people will. There we go. The outrage that people will try to be inclusive. The outrage that people will try to be inclusive by saying Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas starts earlier and earlier every year.
Yeah, it started last week.
Why aren't you saying Merry Christmas? Because it's fucking October. Exactly. It's not Christmas. It's the holiday season. There's a bunch of fucking holidays. Settle down. It's okay. It doesn't diminish you if somebody says, you know what? There's something other than you and your holiday. It's okay. It's okay if people don't celebrate.
And I don't like the idea of a fucking holiday season. The holiday season shouldn't start on fucking Halloween, bro.
It's a holiday. I'm happy with the holiday season starting. What I'm not thrilled with is there are actual Christmas decorations up 2 weeks before that, at least. Yeah. There was eggnog at Rayleigh's in September.
No.
Yes, there was. I took a picture and I almost posted it, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Not going to do it.
They had some milk they had to get rid of. They're like, man, people just bought a bunch of milk at the beginning of COVID, and they just haven't been buying as much, man. We need to listen. We'll just release the eggnog early this year.
Yeah, I don't know if it's earlier and earlier. Honestly, I don't pay attention when the eggnog hits the shelves. I just it happened to catch my eye because I'm like, well, shit, eggnog's out, and then I went, that actually sounds kind of good. And I went, no, I don't need eggnog for anything. What am I doing?
Yeah, peppermint mocha was available this last whole year for the whole entire year, not just Christmas. So,
well, wait till pumpkin spice is available all the time.
Oh, my mom.
Then you'll have something.
No.
Well, I think that honestly, I think they should make pumpkin spice available all year round because then it's not special.
Yeah.
Then it's just another thing on the fucking menu. That and the goddamn McRib. Leave the McRib on all year. I don't give a shit. I'm never going to eat it. Just FYI. Not going to eat it. Leave it on all year round. Then people can who love it can have it, and it won't be this big thing. They won't be like, ooh, McRib.
Well, they have to grow those. They have to grow those ribs every year to harvest.
They plant ears and grow ribs is what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens. So like it just
they're all cartilage.
It's all,
nothing but cartilage.
Yep. Cartilage is good if you render it down.
Fair point. I cannot argue with that. Before we get out of there, you guys watching anything good on TV?
Oh, the Queen's Gambit. Okay. I mean, it sounds like it's about chess and stuff like that, but it's been really great and very enjoyable. That Outlander and Black Sails. My wife loves Outlander. Like, I never thought she would like a show like this, like that. And it's a Starz show. But the first 3 seasons are on Netflix, I think, of Outlander. And then Queen's Gambit is on Netflix, brand new. Kareem, what about you?
Fargo.
Oh, I need to watch Fargo. That's one that's sort of slipped by me. I have a recommendation for you that I sort of stumbled upon accidentally. So if you haven't watched Ted, God, the name is the Jason Sudeikis show.
Oh yeah, Ted, the football team. It's a English football team, right?
Yes. Ted Sasso? No.
Yeah, no, it is something like that, though, isn't it?
Hold on, let me.
Apple TV comes to the Xbox on the 10th. So.
Oh, excellent. It is Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. That was close, bro. That was really close.
Ted Lasso was wonderful. And that led me to, on Amazon Prime, there is a documentary series that is narrated by Tom Hardy called All or Nothing, Tottenham Hotspur team, Tottenham Hotspur, as they fire their manager mid-season and go from there. It's a very interesting sort of watch. It just dropped at the end of August, so it's relatively new. You get Tom Hardy narrating it. It's real life, and of course, unless you follow the English Premier League, you don't know how it all works out. So it's an interesting bit of drama for you. So something interesting to check out. So, and I do have to watch Fargo.
Yeah, I've been saving that because I've watched all the other seasons. I started watching the season, and I was like, I need to sit and pay attention. I can't have this on the background. Like sometimes I can have a show on in the background and watch it, and still get what I need to out of it. But that show, I was like, no, I need to watch the nuance. So
yeah, there's too much going on with that show. So anyway, that's going to do it for us for this week. If you've watched us live, and we did not have a large live audience because we've been back and forth Monday to Tuesday. And we weren't just live on Facebook where it's super easy to just go, hey, it's on Facebook, I'll just leave it. So thanks to everybody who's watched it. If you haven't voted yet and there's still time before the election, please vote. And I said this before on Facebook. Yes, I do hope that you vote for Joe Biden. Just going to say that. I'm so ready for the United States to go back as best we can to quote unquote normal, where we can be people with differences of opinion and disagreements, and we don't have to hate each other because one side wants to end the other for being a certain way. And no, I'm not interested in the equivalencies of it. We're talking white supremacists, we're talking people who are real life Nazis. And they're wrong. And if you support them, you're wrong. If the election goes the way it should go, history will not be kind to you. It will not be great things written about the years of Trump. Just putting it out there. He's not a good person. He's not done good things. He is a terrible, terrible, selfish person who has put himself over country and has not followed through on his oath to protect and defend the Constitution. As commander-in-chief, he has abandoned not just our military, but our allies. There's 1,000 things I could go through, but I won't. So yes, I hope you vote for Joe Biden. I hope you vote, and I hope you vote for Joe Biden, or you have voted for Joe Biden. That's where I stand with it. And like I said, vote your conscience. And if your conscience says you're voting for Donald Trump, I think you really need to examine where your conscience lies and if it's still a thing. Just saying. Just saying. Well, we'll know next week if if things are bad. I hope. Well, I mean, there's going to be. He's already said he's going to declare himself a winner if he pulls ahead, and he's already said, well, the courts will take care of it. Because they've now stacked. It's like, look at all the crimes I've done. He's like the worst Bond villain.
Yeah.
Because like he doesn't even actually have a plan. It's like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. And then I'm not going to just tell James Bond. I'm going to tell everyone.
I mean,
and people will cheer for me.
Do you think they're going to lay his body on the altar of the GOP and just flame him out after this? Like, do you think that they're just going to like, they're going to get rid of him and everybody that was associated with them and like prosecute him? I mean, like what? Oh man, if
the secretary, the attorney general of New York is going to prosecute him. She's going to prosecute the whole fucking family.
Yeah.
Point blank. That's point blank. Period. The people, the Senate, I don't give a fuck what they do. But the woman that's the attorney general of New York, she's got her shit lined up. So, and when she prosecutes him, there's nobody that's going to be able to save him.
It's an interesting thing. He's mentioned before that he may have to leave the country if he loses to Joe Biden. So I'm guessing that means countries with no extradition.
See, he doesn't joke, right?
He does not joke. Does not joke. I mean, we'll to quote Donald, we'll see what happens, and we'll just have to go from there. I will say that a Joe Biden win would be a wonderful early wedding present. Trump was elected a few weeks before I got married, and the entirety of my marriage has been executed underneath the nonsense that has been this administration. The entirety of my marriage, and I need it to be over. Just over. Not my marriage, the administration.
Whoa.
Just to clarify. I did.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah, all of these things need to happen. So it's just been so exhausting. It's just been so exhausting. And I'm just ready to wake up from this nightmare and have it be over. And the biggest fear that I have is that somehow, some way, the polls are all wrong. Like major wrong. Because they were wrong last time, but not to the magnitude that they would be for him to actually win this time, assuming no cheating.
Yeah.
And
somebody pointed out the last time that they said that she would win by 3 points, and she actually did. It was just he pulled the inside straight,
right, with the Electoral College. Yeah, it's going to be something else, and my only hope is that if somehow he does manage to pull it off, that there are 60 Democrats sitting in the United States Senate, and even more Democrats sitting in the United States House. Because then they will actually have the power to stand up to him on a lot of different things. Whereas in a split Congress, they just did not. And don't forget, the first 2 years of his presidency, he had the Senate and the House, and he still couldn't get shit done.
Yeah.
Other than stacking the courts, but that's Mitch McConnell's doing. That's what Mitch McConnell did. So anyway, that's, we had some chuckles, we had some laughs, and now we'll move forward with our happy lives. I'm just hoping that election day goes well, that no one gets hurt, and that we don't burn our country down trying to elect a new president.
Fingers and toes crossed.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, I just want to say I care about both of you greatly, and I hope you have a wonderful week. And to our listeners, the same to you. And we will see you next time for another WTH podcast. Lates. Darling New Media, here to help you tell your story.